July 13th, 2012. From the stylish high-tech underground studios of Ribbit Media in Warwick, Rhode Island, this is NewsUndies. For July 13th, 2012, this is NewsUndies, all the news that shouldn't be news. Pig, sheep, and moose are off this week. I'm Paul Torville with these headlines. CNN asks, did Sarah Palin poison the well for future female GOP candidates? If she didn't, that's an amazing well. A study shows that alcohol, not marijuana, is the real gateway drug. Suspicions abound that this study was funded by the same genius who funded the Analytical Thought Reduces Religious Belief study. As if to demonstrate California's obsession with instant gratification, San Diego shoots its entire evening's fireworks display at once. Anderson Cooper is gay. No one is more surprised than Kathy Griffin. Colorado's Waldo Canyon wildfire, killer storms, heat wave, flooding, and drought failed to provide any sort of evidentiary support for global warming. Thank goodness. The Supreme Court upholds the Affordable Health Care Act individual mandate as constitutional if viewed as a tax. The Romney campaign struggles to explain how it's bad when the federal government does it under Obama, but it was perfectly sensible when Massachusetts did it under him. Katie Holmes, in a fleeting moment of clarity, realized Scientology is scary nonsense and Tom Cruise is a loon. Golden Corral finds a way to make its patrons even fatter and sicker by introducing all-you-can-eat cotton candy right next to its all-you-can-eat chocolate fountain. A study reveals 86% of Americans want drug-free meat. 14% of Americans want druggy meat. God finally gets his revenge on Ernest Borgnine for telling the Fox and Friends crew his secret to longevity was masturbating a lot. Ernest Borgnine, dead at 95. That is a lot of masturbating. Peter O'Toole admits he's had us fooled all this time. He's only 80, but he's retiring anyway. Coming up after the break, shackle shoes, Massachusetts mayhem, and harmful fields.
For your upcoming wedding, bat mitzvah, or funeral, trust the professionals at Blah's Florist to create the perfect mood-appropriate arrangement. Your special occasion will be so much more special with a Blah's Florist arrangement. Blah's will help your memories be that much more memorable. Call or click today to order your unique and not at all sexually suggestive arrangement from Blah's Florist. Blah's, the florist you shouldn't fear.
JS Roundhouse Mids. If a small number of people in your town want to use the normal political process to undermine your rights, what do? Well, in Middleborough, Massachusetts, apparently you stay home and watch back-to-back episodes of the latest reality show, America's Got Unwatchable Drek on TV. Here's me with a special on-the-scene report.
I'm standing here in front of the Middleborough, Massachusetts Town Hall where town meeting on a vote of 183 to 50 approved an ordinance to fine anyone $20 for using loud, profane language in public spaces and parks. Middleborough is the kind of sleepy little town that reminds one of the televised horror that was the Gilmore Girls. It has more churches than banks and more banks than schools. That should give you an idea of the sort of priorities in Middleborough, Massachusetts. So if I were to say, shit, piss, fuck, cunt, cocksucker, motherfucker, tits, what would happen? The measure does raise First Amendment questions. There's no doubt about that. State law does allow local municipalities to set up laws which empower the police to arrest anyone who addresses another person with profane or obscene language in a public place. The ordinance gives police discretion to determine who they're going to fine. The Massachusetts branch of the ACLU has indicated that the U.S. Supreme Court has ruled that government cannot prohibit public speech just because it contains profanity. The free speech rights of the 20,000 or so residents of Middleborough, Massachusetts, were curtailed by a majority vote of less than 1% of the total city population. A local store owner and former selectwoman said, "I'm really happy about it. I'm sure there's going to be some fallout, but I think we did what was necessary." Necessary? One local business owner remarked that it's difficult to pin down what is obscene given the language that one can find on ordinary cable television. Standing in front of the Middleborough Town Hall for some reason, I'm Paul Torville for NewsUndies.
Thanks, me. A device offered for sale on buy.com called the EarthCalm Omega Wi-Fi claims to establish a beneficial field of protection to protect you from harmful rays given off by Wi-Fi routers. Harmful rays. What sort of harmful rays? EarthCalm, the company that actually markets the little USB dongle, claims electromagnetic fields, specifically man-made EMFs, interfere with our so-called biological electricity. Despite enormous advances in science, medicine, biology, and technology, which have permitted understanding of many things, such as the behavior of atoms, what real electromagnetic fields do, how there's no such thing as a man-made EMF, electromagnetic fields occur in nature, from apparently static fields like that of the Earth all the way up through the terahertz range and in all likelihood well beyond. Of course, EarthCalm's website admits, quote, EarthCalm products were not developed based on current electrical and mechanical theories or procedures and cannot be understood using current procedures for introducing modulation into generated current streams, end quote. Don't worry, though. The website goes on to assure us, quote, what distinguishes our products is that they actually work, end quote. Even though the company proposes no modern scientific understanding is helpful in building the gadget, they have no problem using the language of modern science to describe the monster under the bed, and step right up to the edge of begging a demand for scientific explanation, even from the most credulous woo junkie. Check this out. Quote, EarthCalm products are designed to protect the human nervous system from the hazards of man-made EMFs, which include those emanating from our AC electrical grid, as well as microwave radiation emitted from cell phone towers, Wi-Fi, broadcasting stations, etc. They do this by enhancing a person's connection to the Earth's electromagnetic field. This connection is in essence a ground, which by definition allows for the dissipation of biologically meaningless and stress-producing currents, end quote. A person's connection to the Earth's magnetic field? By what? Love? Fairies? Using the electricity from a computer's USB port to produce a man-made EMF? If you're using electricity to do something, the process gives off an electromagnetic field. If you're not using the electricity from the USB port, why waste a USB port? So you can charge $179 for this stupid thing? Oh, did I forget to mention that? Yeah. This is not some $3 Worrystone impulse item. This is serious high-dollar woo. At prices like that, the least they could do is hire Deepak Chopra to endorse it. Don't go away. Coming up after the break, Penn State. Too soon? Patriotism. Made in China. And saying get stuffed in under 140 characters.
It can be hard to think rationally when a loved one passes away. This can be especially true in the event of untimely death or when religious or cultural traditions demand quick interment of remains. Blue and Flatley Funeral Homes are here to ensure your needs are served in the most efficient and profitable way possible. At Blue and Flatley Funeral Homes, your money is very important to us, and we want to make sure we do everything you can afford to put your mind at ease. Blue and Flatley, profiting from the misery of others since 1883.
Joe Paterno. And now, with Moose taking the week off, here's Ryan Hanley with 2 Jeff Goldblum facts.
You know Jeff Goldblum. Jeff Goldblum did a lot of commercials for Apple computers. The campaign was successful, but many people were disappointed to find out that their Apple computers were not as hip without Jeff Goldblum standing next to it. But I think they kept them anyway. I mean, they were decent machines, right? Right? Sure. I have a Dell. Back to... No, you know what? I think I'm a bit tapped on Goldblum for a bit. I'm switching to Richard Dreyfuss next time. back to you. I've got nothing on Richard Dreyfuss. I mean, I know he was in What About Bob, and he had that great character in The Princess Bride, you know. Inconceivable! Oh, no, sorry, that was Wallace Shawn. All right, Jeff Goldblum's coming back. Back to you.
Thanks, Ryan. Fascinating. Ralph Lauren, the iconic American fashionista who brought us the inexcusable Polo men's cologne, has made what might be the greatest error since Napoleon underestimated Wellington and Blucher at Waterloo. He provided the U.S. Olympic athletes with uniforms assembled from apparently off-the-shelf RL items, all made in, guess where? China. This came to light, and suddenly the voting to repeal Obamacare for the 34th time took a back seat. Senators and representatives of both parties were falling all over each other, trying to be the first in line to denounce this horrific turn of events. Talk about election year window dressing. Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid, a Democrat, went so far as to say the uniforms should be piled up and burned. Not, let's make sure this doesn't happen again. Burn them! I guess money isn't in such short supply after all. And finally, and I do mean finally, we all saw this coming, didn't we? Charlie Sheen has had his fill of the Twitterverse. He's packing up and not coming back. Sheen claims he is no longer getting anything out of the social network. He's probably just too busy winning. Sheen's 7.7 million followers could not be reached for comment because I just don't care. Well, that's all for this edition of NewsUndies. If you see news that shouldn't be news, you can submit your story tips online at newsundies.com. NewsUndies is a bi-weekly show, and we'll be back on July 28th with fresh undies. Thanks for watching. Until next time, I'm Paul Torville. After that, I might be trying to score a pair of JS Roundhouse mids.
While walking around picking up B-roll for this story, I overheard lots of people using profane language. I don't see what the big deal is.
Begging a demand for scientific... Of
course, I had to comment while we were setting up the new war memorial on the town hall grounds. Not the brightest of winters.
The first break? Really? Genuinely? Okay. I'll take the hit on that. I don't care. It's fine. Oh, I'm just trying to follow Charlie Sheen on Twitter before he closes his account.